Now for the best part of the show, we're going to relive some of the key moments or key rivalries in Major League Soccer over the last 25 years. Sacha, Kljestan, you're on your 7th or 8th team. Who you play for now? LA Galaxy, my apologies. Thanks for joining us. Dax McCarty, you are where?
Nashville? Nash Vegas.
Okay, you're in Nash Vegas. Thanks for joining us. And Tommy, I appreciate you getting your hair cut for this, or vice versa. You grew your hair out. Tommy, where are you right now?
Houston.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I know all three of you are playing for different clubs, but I want to relive the Hudson River Derby. And Sacha, I'm going to start with you. New York City is announced as a team in Major League Soccer. Manchester City Football Group is behind them. What was your initial thought of this team coming in?
To be honest, I was pretty excited. I was still in Europe, I think, at the time, and adding a second team, I think it just creates that rivalry right away. So I think from an outsider's perspective, everybody was pretty excited about, Man City owning this team and putting them in New York and creating that rivalry right away with the Red Bulls.
Dax, what about you? Was there any animosity right from the beginning?
Yeah, I was a little annoyed. I was a little annoyed because I knew exactly what the banter was going to entail. This new team in New York, we play in the 5 boroughs, and predictably, that's exactly where all the banter went, exactly to that. So immediately right away, you had like a little bit of annoyance that's what their fans jumped on right away. Oh, the New Jersey Red Bulls, they play in Harrison. It's an hour and a half outside the city when I believe it's about 8 miles, if I'm not mistaken. So I would say the banter and the jabs that were going back and forth in the media and between the fan base was actually added another level and another layer to all of it.
Tommy, why did you think you became like a little bit of a cult hero there right away?
I don't know. I think
the hair, 100%.
The hair, I guess, was part of it.
The only goals he scores are bangers. That's it.
That's the thing. They're always bangers, by the way. That's all he does.
That or a header on the goal line where I get kicked in the face. It's one or the other. No, I'm from New York. I understand the culture. I understand the people. And I think I just try to work as hard as I could. And, there wasn't a whole lot to grasp onto the first year. We struggled. And so, I don't know, maybe that was one of the things.
Sacha, when was the first moment that you knew this was going to be a rivalry?
I think when we came out to do the kickoff for the first game, our Red Bull fans had a giant banner behind the goal. I think it said Man City Light or something like that. And I just know from over the years, when I played for Chivas and played against Galaxy, that was a huge game. It means so much to the fans when you're playing against your crosstown rivals. And so even when I went to Anderlecht and we were playing against Bruges or Standard Liège, these huge games, it means a lot to the fans. And so I think all of us as players knew that this game meant a lot to everybody.
I think that tifo caught everyone's attention outside of New York City, and that's when it kind of built up steam. But Dax, you talk about that animosity with the team and all that banter that went into it. The New York Red Bulls won the first 3 games in 2015. How much incentive was there to beat this team with the Frank Lampards, Andrea Pirlos, and David Villas that were on that team?
Yeah, it was huge. It was really huge. And that was a big message in our locker room was, look, we're a team that we were transitioning. We were changing styles of play. We were trying to get younger, play this more upbeat, high-energy style. And this new team was coming in town, our crosstown rival, and they had all the glitz and glamour. They had the big money stars, the big names. I think they wanted to try to play a beautiful brand of soccer. And so you had kind of these contrasting ideas. And then you add that level, like Sacha was talking about, that layer with the fans and how important it was to them and how much it meant to them. And I still remember thinking Red Bull Arena, as we all know, not to pile onto it, but it's not full very often. And that stadium was, I think, filled to capacity for that first game with NYCFC fans coming over, our fans packing it, and just the energy and the atmosphere for that first game, it carried onto the field. And it was an incredible experience to be a part of that.
It easily, for me, is the best stadium in Major League Soccer because I've been in it 5-6 times when it's been packed. One of those was a World Cup qualifier. Fine, doesn't matter. But that thing, it was rocking and rolling. But, Dax, I'm going to go back to you. How much do you wish, though, Thierry Henry and Tim Cahill were a little bit a part of that in 2015 when this thing kicked off?
I do. A little part of me does wish that they could have been a part of it. I look at El Tráfico, the LAFC, LA Galaxy rivalry a little bit, and I see how important it was for Zlatan and for Carlos Vela and for these big names to be a part of it and to create a little bit more of a buzz for it. I think that it would have been incredibly special, especially seeing a guy like Thierry get up for a moment like that, knowing the big games he's played in, Barca, Real Madrid, Tottenham, Arsenal. I mean, obviously a little bit higher level than MLS, but I still think it means so much to those big players, and they step up in those most important moments. And we really saw that with the LA Galaxy, LAFC rivalry.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. However, at the time when I was watching it, there was part of me that liked the fact that the New York Red Bulls didn't have that, and yet New York City did. Tommy, what was it like, though, going into these big games with Pirlo, Lampard, and ultimately David Villa next to you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we felt confident. We were struggling. Yep. We struggled the first year, let's be honest. And so we then ultimately struggled in this rivalry. But when you're standing next to David Villa and Frank Lampard and Andrea Pirlo, who've played in some of the biggest derbies in the world, who have played in some of the biggest games, you feel confident and you look up to them, and you're hopeful and you feel good that they're going to help carry you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tommy, this is the part of the interview and the discussion where you can either cut your video, you can change the microphone,
you might have Wi-Fi problems.
You could blame it on the Wi-Fi, but I got to go to May 2016. What'd you guys call it? The Red Wedding, whatever it may be. Dax, you opened the scoring. I don't know how that happened. You knew that was going to be a bad day, Tommy. When Dax opens up the scoring, what was that day like for you, Dax, scoring that first goal?
Yeah, that was incredible. And it's funny because I told you I just went back and watched some of the highlights before this. And I specifically watched that goal. And Matarrita was on me. And I knew that was a mismatch. And Sacha plays a great ball into the box. And I'm honestly, I think I'm trying to set a pick for someone. I turn around and I just see the trajectory of the ball coming right into the space that I want to run into. And it was just kind of a split-second decision. I'll give Sacha a lot of props. He plays unbelievable service. And I scored 2 goals that game, 2 headers, 2 corner kicks.
I know you did. I know. I just figured you would talk about it, so I didn't need to really bring it up. Tommy, I got to go to another memory to Sacha, but Sacha, I'm glad Dax just brought it up. Bradley Wright Phillips scored 12 goals in this matchup, but I just want to specifically talk about the May game, the Red Wedding, the massacre. What is your top memory from that game?
I mean, the best feeling was in the end when I think we probably scored our 7th goal, and like every goal we scored in the second half was in front of our fans, the big group that traveled over. And so we're always running over to them. We're looking up at them. And then you just kind of, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now because that's the game that every Red Bull fan that was there will never forget that game. And then us as players will never forget that game. I just couldn't believe they kept trying to play out of the back when we were just
neither.
We were picking the ball off and putting it in the back of the net. And then to be honest, we were very good on set pieces, but I think we scored on 4 set pieces that game too, which was credit to us for working on it and stuff. But yeah, it was a crazy day.
I have to ask Tommy a question. I remember hearing after the first half at halftime, this was a little bit earlier in the Patrick Vieira years, I heard that he didn't care. He said, like, I don't care about the score.
He didn't.
Like, I want you guys to continue to play out of the back. Do not change. Do not kick a long ball. And for me, we're sitting there at halftime, and Jesse was telling us, Sacha, these guys are not going to change. They're going to continue to do exactly the same thing. We don't want the ball. Let them have the ball, and then we're going to score. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we were a little bit naive and arrogant. And there was kind of this philosophy that we wanted to play from the back, build from the back. And we kind of needed to take our lumps at the beginning of the year, that first year with Patrick, and kind of really learn our lesson. 1, to get better at it, but 2, for him to kind of learn the lesson that we can't play out of the back 100% of the time in this league. And so I think in the long term, it helped us a lot. But in the short term, we took a lot of beatings.
Took a couple lumps.
We actually, on ESPN, had Patrick Vieira in New York City the following week. And I sat down with him. I asked him, and he was calm, cool, and collected. Didn't matter, didn't bother anything. Except I asked him one question. I said, will you change how you play on a baseball diamond? He didn't skip a beat. He said, yes, we will not play that way again. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, but it does work into your favor, Sacha and Dax, that if New York City is going to try to play out of you, and the field is 65 yards wide, I don't care what New York City tried to tell me that it was 70 yards wide, they played right into your hands. It just worked that way. So, Tommy, what's your one memory from that awful day then?
Yeah, It actually involves my friend Dax over here. We were just getting beat every which way, to be honest. And I got the ball, and I think Felipe came to press me, and I megged him. But it went a little bit long, and Dax came and won the ball. And I was just like, in my head, somebody just needs to hit somebody to do something, change something. I just hit Dax. I kicked him real hard right in the shin.
I remember that vividly.
I'm glad that like you weren't hurt or anything. It wasn't trying to injure you or anything. It was just trying to
liar.
Like we need to fight, but
you were trying to hurt.
I remember that vividly. I was trying to think what game that occurred in because I was going to bring it up, but that would have been the cherry on top if you would have seen red that game.
I probably should have seen a red in that, and it didn't work. No message was sent.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.